How's it going, guys?
Good.
Are you guys getting tired of watching offensive videos?
Not that offensive.
I mean, the topic's going to be offensive no matter what. That's kind of the point. If I don't give you guys topics like that, then it's just a waste of your time. A lot of people try to play it safe. Did you see how difficult it was for any of the other students to actually go to the places that I was I was trying to get them to go? Excuse me.
Or hesitate.
Yeah, no one even wants to go there because they're so afraid to even put out ideas that aren't even, something that they believe, just something that might have came to their mind. It's weird. We're really afraid to talk about things as if just to even entertain an idea without necessarily believing it, right? You got to entertain it and walk through it first before you can reject it, or you should always do that. So as I was going back through that, and I had multiple classes that I was looking at, I had a bunch of other footage that I wanted to put in there. I ended up running out of time, so I had to cut it short, which is better for you guys because then less to watch. I'm sure you got the point. You guys got any ideas about that?
Hey, Professor.
You watched that video?
Yes, I actually just finished it right now.
Yeah, you got any thoughts? That was pretty bad, right?
Yeah, I know. And the whole thing, what mostly interested me was how the doctors choose the sex for intersex children, and how it can cause basically misery in their life. And that's what I chose to write about in my reading response. And just thought that it's pretty messed up to choose someone's sex before they know their sex,
Yeah, I was contemplating if I should cut some of the F-bombs that I dropped near the end there, but then I figured if someone's watching, yeah, I truly mean it. Even going back and editing it, I'm like, no, I don't even have the desire to take that out. Yeah. And then I figure if someone's going to watch 50 minutes of that video, then whatever, I'm already screwed. So can you believe that we did that stuff? Like us, America, and our doctors, people who are highly educated. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, especially about the experiment Dr. Money did with the two twins. Yeah. I found that to be pretty messed up the most, where he thought he can just make a girl happen.
Yeah, we really think way too low of women, I think.
Yeah, it's messed up, really.
Yeah, we're like, yeah, a guy could do it. A guy could be a woman. It's like...
It doesn't work that way.
No. Yeah, what did they do about ovaries and periods and stuff?
Yeah.
It's probably when they figured they better break the news to them, where it's like, you're not going to get a period, by the way. You're just we did this to you.
It's really messed up.
And the fact that he based his entire approval of this off of just that one situation with the one kid that they switched, and then that people bought into it, doctors bought into it. That was so unbelievable. So one thing about that is, obviously, at any point, whether it's for this essay or essay 4, you're not going to write an essay on if that was right or wrong. So once we get to value, you're not going to write an essay on if that was right or wrong, because there's no one that would say that is right anymore. You won't have anyone on the other side of that argument. And if you do, those people you don't want to talk to those people because they are crazy. It's just insane. It's disturbing that people were on board with it and just following suit, and parents were like, yeah, that sounds good to us. Or I'm sure that's not how it worked out, but they still
went for it.
Yeah. Like how many years of raising this child, trying to keeping that, it's not like Santa Claus, Like you see as they're growing up with that other experiment where there was the 16 boys with the botched circumcisions, and the first third of them are just tripping out as kids. I mean, they only switched them back because they couldn't even handle it, right? It was something so disturbing that they couldn't handle it, but that doesn't mean there weren't signs like that for all the other kids. And so can you imagine for those first ones, and then the parents thinking about Dr. Money going ahead, and I don't know how in the loop they were about it, but you'd want to think he'd be, trying to reassure them through the years that like they did the right thing. Freaking crazy.
It was insane to read about it and know about it.
Yeah, I didn't know about it either before.
Yeah, me too.
How did this happen? How was this actually the normal practice? Like,
it's crazy, really. I couldn't believe it myself either, how they can just like determine it by the length, where they had that, what is that thing called, where
the
if it's over,
meter.
the fallometer, yeah, where it's just if it's that long then it's a boy, if it's this long it's a girl. Like, it's kind of really kind of ignorant of how they did it.
Yeah, they made that thing like a refrigerator magnet too.
Yeah, exactly.
Just doctors are like, yeah, okay, let's just apply the tool. Yeah, freaking barbaric.
Yeah,
Barbaric.
absolutely.
So you think that's not even that long ago too? Okay, so we've practiced genocide in our country with Native American women. They were giving them hysterectomies instead of pap smears when they'd go in for a checkup. Well, they were probably giving them the pap also, but they were giving them hysterectomies pretty much like doctors were doing this, trying to, what other reason to do that without telling them, without them needing it? The only reason to do that is you were trying to wipe out a people. So we did that in the 70s. That is not that long ago. And then we've got this happening even more recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to think that we've come so far. It's also like a check on maybe we should be questioning more than we do, even the things that we're doing right now. Because in 10 more years,
you might look back at it the same as we look at this now.
Yeah. One thing that I didn't put in that video was, like, what are the side effects of what we're doing now for transition? I know a lot of people, actually, that are in the process of transitioning. And as far as anything pharmaceutical, like if there's a lifelong pharmaceutical that you're taking, like that could just be like antidepressant or even an antacid. I know people that take antacids like every day. Anything like that you're adding to your body chemistry on a level where it's
continuous basis. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially when it starts messing with your hormones intentionally, going against your actual DNA, which is in the fiber of your being, right? You cannot help that. And you're trying to push your body further in the other direction. What are the side effects of those things? Because if you look at it, there's some hardcore effects.
Like naturally, I would think that, like it's against nature, and anything against nature is gonna backfire somehow.
Right. And so when you handle the conversation, so we're talking about facts right now, but at the point where you could take this to value, you could make an argument for it being bad for you and still not trying to say that people shouldn't do it. Or, because it's still up to each person's choice. And you should also be able to bifurcate, to be able to like separate the idea of if it's right or wrong for them. Like there's a difference, right? You don't want to look down on someone for choices that they make when it's their choice, it's their body, it's their life. But then there's also the factor of what is the cost of this choice? Could you, if you feel like something on the inside and it's all about what you feel like on the inside, why does it matter so much to change your outside when the cost of changing your outside might be cutting your life down by like a third? Because we don't know. Like it might just take 20 years off your life. Is that worth it? If it's about that outward ideal of beauty that you find beautiful and you want to put that on yourself, we've had people dressing in drag for so long now. Why not just dress in drag? Why not just stuff your bra, be a drag queen? Because you could still be healthy that way. But I don't think, even if you can pull off the look because you've been doing it since you were 12, and so you've hindered all the development. Even if you've been able to hinder all that stuff, just because you can pull off the look, it does not mean that you're a healthy human being and that your life expectancy is going to be normal.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're going through with it. We're expediting the process, even though we have no idea what the consequences are. This generation that is doing this, they're guinea pigs. This is a guinea pig generation where we are just testing crap out on them. They're paying for it.
I agree, absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, remember, that's not saying it is wrong for them to do.
Yeah.
That's
It's the
not saying,
consequence that what they're doing is going to do to them.
right. If you have a loved one and they're going through with it and they feel very strongly about it and they're young, like when you're young, you feel very strongly about a lot of things. And so you should not be reprimanded. I would say this, you should not be reprimanded for trying to push against someone's ideas. This is not talking about insulting them. There's no reason to insult someone, but if you love them and you want to make sure that their decision is the right decision because it is going to affect their life dramatically, you want to make sure that they're making the right decision. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but opposing viewpoints in this class are incredibly important. Why would you go to a trans camp where everyone is just affirming how you feel? Like, let's jump on this train together rather than finding opposing viewpoint voices to really make sure that this is what you want, that this is the right decision for you. Because I see a lot of, if you question it, then you're being unloving. And then that's weird. How is that in loving? Insulting someone and not respecting their choice could be considered unloving, but you should probably be able to test or be a sounding board for them and try and work out the ideas with them rather than them hiding in a community and feeling like those people are the ones that love them when those people are just trying to get other people to agree with their... Okay, have you ever noticed what people do to almost like confirm their own beliefs is try to get more people to believe what they believe and only listen to people that believe the same thing as them? We do this all the time. This is like a human... I wouldn't say condition, but it is a evidence of our human condition. There's another thing you could write on, an echo chamber. Do you guys know what an echo chamber is yet? I feel like I brought it up a couple times. An echo chamber is when, let's say, you only hear the same thing that you already believe. You're hearing nothing but the same thing that you already want to hear. So let's say on social media, when you only have friends and you only see things in your feed that agree with the things that you already believe, you have an echo chamber. You're not hearing opposing viewpoints. You're not hearing things that push back against what you believe. That's dangerous, because how are you going to get different views, different perspectives? It doesn't mean you have to believe them. It just means you need to wrestle with them. That's actually healthy for your brain, for critical thinking and for broadening your view. It doesn't mean you take the view and believe it. It means you try to understand the view so you can figure out, okay, I understand it now, and I still disagree with it. You disagree with it because you know that it's wrong, not just because it disagrees with what you already believed and you really don't want to believe that because it's uncomfortable. We do this all the time, and one of the theories was that we were being given an echo chamber. This is something you could argue, that social media, like the corporations, the algorithms, they do it to us without our consent. But the thing is, we are the ones who make our echo chamber. The algorithm just goes with whatever we've liked. And you saw that, didn't you, in the other video? Did anyone watch The Social Dilemma? Okay, so that's the same thing. The like button, everything that you like or heart, the algorithm just wants to give you more ads. It just wants you to be on the screen longer because that's how the company makes money. So it is always going to give you things that will keep your attention, which is always, it's not going to be things that you don't like. It's not going to be things that you're bored by, that you're uninterested in. It's always going to be the things that are like the things that you have already liked and followed and whatever. So what it seems like is that we really create our own echo chambers. The topic of an echo chamber, though, is up for grabs. You could write something about that. The other thing is, what I want you guys to remember when you're trying to think about whatever topic you want to go over is, whatever it is, make sure that you are dealing with the strongest arguments of the opposition. So Dr. Money, horrible man, no one who is sane should agree with what he did now. So there's no one on the other side. There's no opposition. So if there's no opposition, no real opposition except for crazy people on the other side, then there's nothing to argue. There's no point in making the argument. So when you want to write on a topic, when you want to find a topic for this argument of fact essay, like, you could go with almost anything I said, but make sure that there are strong arguments against you, and make sure you grapple with those strong arguments. Because if it's something that's really easy to push over, then why even argue against it? You could touch on it for a second, but that shouldn't even be a paragraph. That should be like in your introduction. Don't give a whole paragraph to a silly argument that is easily disqualified by simply one sentence. You want to go with the hardest arguments that the other side has to offer. Does that make sense? Cool. And then that's how you get a good essay. That's how you get enough to talk about, where I'm not marking in your paragraphs, you didn't need to cover any of this stuff. This is all fluff. Like, you will find yourself like, oh, if I'm going to dismantle that argument, I have to go through this, this, and this. And I just realized I got a whole essay out of just dismantling one argument from the opposition. That is fine. That's called a narrow, thorough essay, which is what I'm looking for. Now, it could be a couple points from the opposition because it's like a compound argument. That's fine. But just know, like, you want to go with the harder things to argue against.